Who could have predicted what a journey 2011 would be for Trevor Baine? He won stock car racing's biggest prize, the Daytona 500, to start the season, but 6 weeks ago found himself in a hospital bed instead of a race car, dealing with a difficult-to-diagnose ailment. Tonight, the 20-year-old makes his return to competition. Our Dr. Jerry Punch now, and a conversation with Trevor Baine.
From a relative unknown, the NASCAR's newest star, you pull off this big upset winning the Daytona 500. Suddenly, Trevor Baine's an overnight sensation. And then 10 weeks later, you're gone as quickly as you came. Trevor, take us back to the beginning and tell us what happened.
I was coming back from Martinsville, and I noticed a little bite on my arm, and I didn't think anything of it. You know, I was tired, and then really I just didn't feel like I could sleep enough. At Martinsville, in between practices, I went up in the hauler and laid down and went to sleep, and that kind of went away, and I was like, all right, well, don't know what that was, but I'm glad it's gone. And then 2 weeks later, I go to bed on a Monday night. We've been hiking all day. Tuesday morning, I woke up and my eyes were just kind of double vision. So I went to the doctor, and they didn't know what it was at that time. So I went out to the Mayo Clinic, and they started treating me for different things and kind of shotgun blasted it. Lyme's was one of those things that they treated for. Since then, everything's gone away. So I'm happy that it's gone away. But through that little period, you know, you're kind of like, what's happening here? Well,
because of all the speculation, let's go ahead and set the record straight. Have you at any time in this whole process and all these tests run been specifically told you've been diagnosed with MS, multiple sclerosis?
I've never been diagnosed with that, no, but obviously that's something that takes a long time to go through, and there's no signs pointing to that right now, unfortunately.
What was your biggest concern while you were hospitalized?
Well, I was always worried about how fast am I going to get better. You know, it's never what is it or is it curable. You know, I'm not a very patient person. I was like, all right, next week, you know, next week we'll go get them. Another week goes by, and then you're like, next week, and you just keep wondering, when am I actually going to get better? When is this all going to go away? But during that gradual progression of getting better, that's when you get antsy and kind of wonder what's happening.
Who among those in the racing community were there for you and your family when all this was going on?
I think I got a text message from just about every single person and driver in the sport. That support that I got was unbelievable. And having owners that are behind me the whole time saying, look, whenever you get better, you're better and we'll put you back in the car. They just said, okay, we're going to wait till Chicago. It's a 300-mile race at night. Let's do that, work into this thing easy again, and see how it goes.
Is there ongoing treatment?
I'm still on the antibiotic for the Lyme's disease for one more week until Wednesday, and I'll go back in a couple months and get a checkup and make sure everything's okay.
When you won the Daytona 500, your strong will and remarkable faith became very apparent to a lot of people. So with that in mind, tell us why you think all of this happened to you at this point in your life when your career was just about to take off.
Well, to me, it's just to show me what I'm made of. I think if I was defined by winning races or being out of the race car, it would have been a tough year for me, because I would have went to the top of the top and been to the bottom of the bottom. You know, if I was defined by those things, I'd probably be crushed right now, but fortunately I'm not. You know, fortunately I've got something else, and God's always just put a peace in my heart that He's got control of all of it, so I just got to find joy in that all the time, and that's where that undescribable peace comes from.
Final lap, Chicagoland Speedway, Saturday night, off of turn 4. You win this race. What will it be like in Victory Lane?
I'll lose it. I mean, I'd about lose it thinking about it. I mean, that'd be incredible. So we'll see what happens. If it does, it'd be pretty amazing.
What is amazing is that Trevor Baine was away from the sport for 6 weeks, yet climbed back in this car last night and was the fastest car and driver in final practice. His challenges tonight are two: heat and hydration. It'll be over 110 degrees in the cockpit of this car for 2 hours tonight. You'll need to chase the hydration because fluids is what gives you strength and stamina, which he will need here tonight. Alan?
Doc, thanks. So Trevor out of a race car for 6 weeks. Rusty, is it like the old saying about riding a bike, just get right back on and go, or are there some challenges?
Well, there's going to be some challenges, no doubt about that, Alan. I mean, this kid, he's been out for a while, and, you know, practice is one thing, but racing's totally different. It really is. I mean, when you get out there racing under those conditions, moving around all over the place, moving real quick, nothing like practice, it's different. So I'm wanting to see how it's going to work for him, and he is too, probably.
Yeah, we're going to have to test his physical conditioning tonight when he gets in the race car. But for me, I think that a guy like Trevor Baine needs to really take his time, step back, make sure he is 100%. He is one of the few in this sport that can actually do that, simply because he's young, he's charismatic, he's a good-looking kid like you two guys, got those Hollywood good looks, and most importantly, he's a Daytona 500 winner. Take your time. Don't rush yourself, because the next step you take backwards could be the last one.
That was nice of you. By the way, pressure, Matt Kenseth won in
Yeah,
this
it is.
16 car at
Yeah.
Charlotte a week ago. So the reality is, in this sport, there's always pressure to perform. Here's a little quirk for you. Despite all their successes in so many places, Bain's team, Roush Fenway Racing, has never won at this track.
Wow.
In the
Wow.
Nationwide Series, one of just 3 tracks they can say that about, and at this track, in any NASCAR National Series.
That can change.
Now, that said, Roush Fenway has won the last 3 straight nationwide races with 3 different drivers and each of their 3 different teams.